Now I really did not want to make this video, and honestly I have been enjoying myself on Fallout 76 for the past few weeks now, but I feel like somebody in the community does need to bring up the lingering fact that Fallout 76 is kind of in a weird spot. It's kind of a lot of that new player base that transitioned into the game from the TV show, and they just dropped a pretty major update with the Skyline Valley where they took an empty portion of the map and they expanded upon it and made this cool area with a whole new storyline, new enemies, and a new boss for the end game. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the subject and talking about how much longer Fallout 76 has left again. But really quick, I do want to shout out the partner for the channel, Instant Gaming. If you're looking for really cheap games on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, link will be in the description below, alongside their monthly free game giveaway. If you're new around here, every month Instant Gaming provides you guys, the community, a free game. Just sign up, link below. Appreciate you guys. It keeps the lights on at night, and I love you. So the first thing that I'm going to transition your attention to is the Fallout 76 Steam charts. If we look over into April 11th, we had about 17,000 players, and all before then in 2024, we averaged a weird estimate of 12 to 10,000 players daily, which for a game like Fallout 76 isn't too bad. But now, when the TV show released, they had a staggering adjustment of almost 330% player base, up to 25,000 concurrent players. And this was with no new content. This was just like with the hype, people actually coming back to Fallout and revisiting the game. And that momentum actually transitioned pretty well into the next month of May, where we've seen another player increase. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, that's not too much, it's only 16%, but that's actually a lot more new players. For a game like Fallout 76 that released back in 2020 is absolutely amazing, but very, very quickly as they came in, players are starting to trickle out. As we go into the current month of June, we are already down almost 9,000 players over on PC. I can't say the same for the Xbox and the PlayStation community, but the PC community is sometimes a good consensus to see the overall longevity of a game. Now, why is this happening? If we look over into the past month, you can see how the chart kind of evens out, has its highs, has its lows, but as time goes on, it's going up and down, and then hey, Skyline Valley came out, and then it's going back down again. So, the big issue with this is Skyline Valley was a nice update and it did provide some story, but in all reality, it only really benefited the people that were pretty much done with the game, did all the story, were just waiting on content. A lot of people have just blazed through this campaign, and the new boss that was added is kind of, it's not lackluster, I'll give him credit where it's due. Visually, it's actually a pretty awesome boss, I'm not going to lie, but I think the biggest issue is a lot of the new players that are coming into the game, and that is obviously apparent because my series on YouTube, the Fallout 76 Beginner's Guides, were doing astronomically great, meaning people coming back to the game at that time were all new players. There probably was some veterans, don't get me wrong, but those new players trickled in, and those new players are now realizing that they're not enjoying their experience. But where does this start? I think we could break this down into two separate subcategories with the type of content Fallout 76 does offer and the duration of said content. The type of content is generally storyline based, which in my opinion is my favorite kind of stuff. I like listening to the dialogue and the NPCs. I like the stories that are curated and the subjective options that you can choose that may or may not alter the actual story. You know, kind of like old Telltale games, sometimes it matters. I prefer that part of Fallout. A lot of people do prefer just shooting shit and making the best build and doing all that fun stuff. Don't get me wrong, that is a great portion of this game, but if you are the type of player that, for example, plays Destiny 2 or other looter shooters in the subgenre, you're going to get bored of Fallout 76 rather quickly. And the issue behind that is you always want to get your build down, right? So if you want to get your build going, you need to roll legendaries, which means you need legendary scripts. So you have to do random contents like your daily ops every single day, farming the same endgame events over and over again so you can get bonus legendaries. 3 stars will give you the most. You transition to that, and then you make stronger guns, stronger builds. But then you could take those builds and you do the same thing that you've been doing the whole time. Sure, you can do expeditions, but those are really just a polished paint job version of kill quests. You go to the location, you kill certain enemies, you come back, you get some currency to do the whole thing over again. And I think where Fallout 76 is lacking in the retainment department is the gameplay loop is really addictive and really fun for the first 30 to 40 levels, and you get a lot of dopamine when you finally hit 50 and you could finally start picking around your build. But I think one of their biggest flaws was making the beginner creator thing where or a new player could just jump to level 20. Because in my opinion, level 1 through 20 is probably where you learn the most stuff about the game and where you get the best experience. You get to see how the world transitions, you get to meet everybody, you get to level up your build and see how everything functions. I've had multiple friends hop into Fallout because of the TV show. They click a level 20 character and they don't even hit level 25 because they're already confused, they're lost, they don't know what to do, and it's just a very bad experience. Hence why people go to external sources like YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, and wonder how to play the damn game. And the unfortunate thing is that's only for the people that are willing to put in the extra efforts. A lot of casual players will just say, it's still boring, it's still 76, just like the first week of launch. And like many games like looter shooters and such, the endgame is just simply not there. There's not much to do. You have 4 bosses that you can kill, which inherently are great for the first few times and are honestly really freaking cool. Like, this game is still a good game, guys. Don't make this video seem like I don't like Fallout. Fallout 76 is really good at what it does, but it's really hard to keep the majority of people there for a long time with the way they structure their gameplay loop. If you want to do all the side quests, do all the miscellaneous challenges, do all your little badges on the menu, yes, technically there's endless content if we're going to take that route, but it's how monotonous and annoying that content eventually gets. Fetching a certain item from a house, go over here, search here, find that guy, turn on your radio, put on the GPS tracker, fix this satellite, call in an airdrop, you get the whole 9 yards. But one strong point of Fallout that I think everybody can agree with, it never really loses its charm. There's some special thing about being in a rugged wasteland after the nukes have dropped and just farming and scavenging every little thing you find, picking up everything you can until you're over encumbered and can no longer fast travel. That is what, in my personal opinion, makes the Fallout series so iconic and so damn fun. But if we look over into my YouTube community tab, I did a poll to see what you guys are feeling, and I know mine is a very small grasp of the larger portion of the community, but out of the people that voted, the 200 people that have voted, I simply asked, does Fallout 76 push out new content fast enough to hold your attention to the game? And a resounding 69% of you said no, that the content that they push out does not hold your attention. When they added the level 20 skip, so these new players went to level 20, hitting the end game faster, or not even hitting the end game at all, quickly realizing the end game issues that Fallout 76 does actually have are probably the most logical cause for the rapid decline in player base once again, despite a map expansion with a lot of hype built around it. Now, I was going to take the route of just posting glitches, the pickaxe glitch and things with Fallout, but honestly, I don't want to foster that kind of environment for the community, and I know that's rare to be saying on a game. I'm not trying to white knight the game, I'm not trying to shill for the company, but I think a game like Fallout 76 is best served organic, and when I say that, I mean playing the game as intended sometimes is the best way of experiencing this game, as doing certain things like duping glitches and all that kind of stuff will not only lower your expectations for the end game content, but in that same breath will also soil the perceived quality of the content that Fallout intended to create for all of us to enjoy. And I think when you put it down to the brass tacks, when you play Fallout 76 by yourself, it could be a vibe, it could be awesome. But as of right now, if you're the type of gamer that has a lot of time on his hands and you're used to these grindy looter shooters or these grindy MMOs, then honestly, Fallout 76 simply will not hold your attention for the long term. To remedy this, I guess just wait for the updates. The Play As Ghoul comes out in 2025. People are saying that's going to be a complete overhaul and a whole reason for even old players and veterans to come back and start fresh. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope it's not just like a mode. I hope it's actually a way you could experience the entire game all over again, which I think would be pretty freaking cool. But before we close this video out, I want to look at some community-driven reasons on why they feel this game is boring, and you could take a moment here to let me know in the comments down below what your honest thoughts about the game are. But so we're going over into Reddit, and I filtered by the most recent, so these are either 1 to 3 months old. The first one is Fallout 76 is been boring to me. Has been, English. I got the game for free on Prime Gaming, but I'm not getting into it. The progression seems so slow, and microtransactions are just abusive. People seem afraid to join up or even talk to you, and the main storyline is just kind of mid and uninteresting. I only got the game for fun, Fallout-themed PvP and Guild Wars and something like that, but I'm having a hard time finding it. So, for the Fallout 76 fans, how do you guys have fun with this game? Now, quickly breaking down that, I completely agree. I think their monetization and microtransactions are absolutely atrocious. I think compared to many other games, that's the equivalent to Borderlands. If you guys ever played Borderlands, imagine you had to pay like $2.99 to respec your character, or you can go kill a raid boss 10 times and he might drop a respec character token. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I feel like with Fallout 76. But I definitely do think that it hits a point where the microtransactions almost become borderline abusive, because it's like all these cool things, these passive generation machines to place in your camp that are locked behind a paywall basically, or a lot of freaking time getting atoms for free, can be very toxic and very turn-offish for a lot of new players to want to stick around, and many veterans have left because of that. And I know the whole abusive argument will be said in the comments down below. Try not to go at each other's necks, but in my personal opinion, I think it's pretty scummy to make people pay to repair your weapons inside of a game. I'm just saying, I know it's an option, but that feels more like an MMO thing than a Fallout thing. Like, that's the type of thing I would expect to see at Elder Scrolls if you bought the ESO pass. But that is just some food for thought and my personal opinions on the future of Fallout 76. Do I think it's going to completely die off? Heck no. I think, if anything, maybe they're going to support it even more now with season 2 of the TV show coming up. And even then, I feel like they may have some things and some tricks up their sleeves to bring in the masses, but I do think they are kind of looking in the right direction with this map expansion and a brand new boss. If they just pump out more bosses and just things and maybe improve on the expeditions, the new players as well as the veteran players will be very appreciative, and I think the long-term and the weird microtransaction system can be overlooked if the content is well enough to boot. That's the video, guys. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button down below, as it does spread out my content to more people in the Fallout community. If you're newer to the game, you need some guides, need to know what the hell you're doing, I have a whole series on my channel, all beginner guide stuff and intermediate things thrown into there. I love you guys. Subscribe if you don't want to miss out on another video from me, and I'll see you all later.